Hello everybody, Chris here, and in this video I'd like to briefly explain to you what a Chrome or Firefox extension happens to be, or the equivalent for whatever kind of web browser you happen to be using is. So normally with a web browser you have a certain amount of functionality, including the ability to type in websites in the URL bar and to load them up inside the browser on a web page. But a web browser can be made to do a lot more than that in modern times. So that's where extensions come in. Extensions are little apps that you basically install into your web browser, and they only run while you are working within your browser. So if you have Chrome installed as your web browser, and you install some Chrome extensions, whenever you boot up Chrome, these extensions are going to load as well. And they're written with a variety of different programming languages. I know JavaScript is pretty common there, but the important thing to note is that they can do a lot of different things for you. For instance, I'll go through the ones I have installed here. AdBlock Plus. If on certain websites you're getting sick of seeing a lot of ads, AdBlock extensions are very popular for their ability to basically cut those the ads out of the page and not display them for you so you don't get annoyed by that. Given that does cut into the revenue of the people who own the site, so it's kind of a dilemma. Do you want to use it to not be annoyed, or do you want to not use it so that people still get paid? But it is what it is. And over here we have LastPass, which is a password manager. You basically have one password and one account that will hold all of your passwords securely stored on the LastPass servers. And you can find that online. It ties in actually with their own databases. And the Chrome extension is just one part of that app. They also have a desktop version and mobile phone versions as well. But you can access the password manager in the same way by using the Chrome extension. So it's basically bringing the LastPass functionality, but straight into your web browser. Ponyhoof is essentially just a silly skin. If you want to make Facebook a little bit more fun, or you like My Little Pony or whatever, hey, it's there for you. And then over here on the right, I have Clear Cache, which is more of a Chrome extension that you would use if you are into programming, because often if you're trying to program, especially for web development, you would have to clear the cache a lot of times. And the reason for that is so that you can get the page to load brand new, freshly, without having any cookies stored or other data that tends to carry over between sessions like that. It just clears everything and lets you start fresh, which for a web developer is pretty important. For most people, not so much. So that's just 4 examples of Chrome extensions. With Firefox extensions, it's much the same, except it's installed into a different browser, but beyond that, it really is essentially the same. Different browsers may have different extensions that you can install, but essentially beyond that, they all work the same. So you could pick up Chrome extensions over at the chrome.google.com web store. And for Firefox, you could go to addons.mozilla.org. But yeah, really, beyond that, it's the same. You just choose the extension that sounds like it would be beneficial for you. You install it. And then assuming it's loaded properly, you would just go over here, and you should see an icon for most extensions pop up here. If for some reason you can't figure out what's going on there with the extension, you can always go down to the settings menu on whatever browser you happen to have. This is for Chrome. I believe it would be settings, and then you go to the extensions tab. So let's actually go ahead and do that really quick. So settings, extensions, and it would roughly be the same in whichever web browser you happen to be using. You would be able to see if it's enabled, and if you have one enabled that you don't want enabled, you can go ahead and disable that. So that's a rough rundown of extensions for different web browsers, including Chrome and Firefox. I hope that gives you a pretty good idea. If it didn't, the easiest way to think about it would probably just be apps that run in your web browser, but that you don't have to boot up manually. Like, there are actually Chrome apps, which would be more like something you click on over here to load up, and it has its own instance, and it'll load the app up. But extensions are basically always loaded up, and they would put an icon over here. Rather than being a major function, it's a minor thing to assist you. Hope that makes sense, guys. I've been Chris. Thank you for watching, and until my next video, I guess I'll see you then.